Welcome back into another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast. As always, James and Corey here. Again, we're throwing a little bit of a curveball this week. I don't think we're even going to get to any helmet stickers because we did some players who need to have a big backstretch of their season in yesterday's episode, and then too much went down at the NFL trade deadline not to do a mock draft, considering the Jets now own a second first-round pick now as well, and now own 3 in 2027. So the New York Jets, if you missed it, shipped off Sauce Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-rounders, and then shipped off Quinnen Williams to Dallas for their 2027 first-rounder and their 2026 second-rounder, I think. So a lot of movement. A.D. Mitchell also heading to the New York Jets along with those first-round picks too. So definitely the Jets owning the NFL trade deadline. Other than that, not a lot of big names being moved outside of some day 3 picks for like Jacoby Myers, Logan Wilson, guys like that.
Yeah, Jets are going to have to basically try to recreate what they did in the 2022 class, except this time line it up with a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I mean, got to be frustrating as a Jets fan because you build this like phenomenal young core of players, but just never were able to get the coaching and the quarterback up to that level. So,
I mean, yeah, you're talking about a cornerstone left tackle, right tackle, wide receiver, corner. And then, yeah, nothing lined up at all. And then even, I mean, Elijah Vera Tiger's health was a thing too, but even a first-round guard up front there too. But so we're going to do a mock draft here. Have a little post-trade deadline action fun here. Again, the pick that the Jets would be acquiring in this simulation is going to be the 32nd overall pick in the draft because the Colts currently hold the best record in the AFC with New England. And so we are talking about the Jets picking 32nd and 3rd overall here. I'm going to start off here, and we're going to go with the New Orleans Saints at 1st overall. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen for those of you watching on YouTube as well. So let's get that rolling here. All right. And then one more quick thing. Bang. There we go. All right. So we are rolling here. New Orleans Saints. Now that they've benched Rattler, I kind of think they might go quarterback at the top now. At first, it started to look like, oh, Rattler's playing well enough, you address some other needs. Now it's starting to feel like, oh, you're uncertain at quarterback again, which they've always been uncertain at quarterback. But are they gonna take a quarterback here?
well, I mean, so much of it depends on how Tyler Shook continues to play. Thought he had a solid performance in week 9, but yeah, I mean, if we're doing the draft, at this point in the season, I think the quarterback decision really just comes down to how do you feel about Tyler Shook. So it's a projection. Like, do you think he plays well enough for them to feel good about him going into next year?
Yeah. They did trade Rashid Shaheed today, and they really don't have any wide receivers outside of Chris Olave, who also isn't even under contract in the future. Man, this is I don't know what to do here, man. Right off the rip, I could go Ruben Bain, which is it's probably what I'm leaning because I mean, first overall feels sharp for our. I mean, Trevon Walker went 1st overall though, so maybe it's not.
If you're not taking a quarterback, what do you think about a trade?
Do you want to roll with some trades?
I mean, I don't know. We don't need to go crazy, but I feel like, in this position, if we're saying like Tyler Shook, we're going to roll with him for a couple years. I look at the Rams sitting there at 11, potentially
Cleveland, New York both have 2 first-rounders.
Cardinals at 12, Raiders at 7, Browns at 6, Dolphins at 4, Jets at 3. I mean, there's a ton of trade options for quarterback if we want to go that route.
Let's hold on. Let's holster that for another time. That feels like a way too much to do right now. So let's just work. Let's work some best player availables. Do you know what, dude? I'm gonna do it. Let's unleash Arvell Reese 1st overall. You can run him off the edge. You can stack him at the 2nd level. You can get a lot out of him here. So, best player in the draft, take him 1st overall. Whatever. Let's not overthink it.
Another great game from him.
Yeah.
Last week.
I think at this point the conversation is now that Arvell Reese is kind of running away with the best player of the class title.
Yeah.
I think a little bit here.
All right, Titans at 2. Need basically everything.
Another team that's not going to take a quarterback, though.
Right. So in real life, this would definitely be a trade down spot. But here, I'm just going to stick and pick Ruben Bain, best player available, massive position of need at edge rusher. They don't have an edge rusher on the roster who would be an edge 2, like in an ideal world. So, going to take Ruben Bain here.
Yeah, this is where we get into the quarterbacks now, and then it comes down to I'm punting Lenore Sellers till 2027. Like
Right.
I don't even know. Like I'm not gonna draft him in this exercise because like I really think we're talking about 3 first-round quarterbacks right here, and I think it's the 3 that we've been talking about a lot on this podcast: and Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson. We had the Swordsby conversation coming into the week, and that kind of didn't live up to fruition in the Utah game. So I think that leaves us with 3 first-round quarterbacks here, and I'm just going to stick to my quarterback rankings, my quarterback board here, and go Fernando Mendoza to the Jets.
All right, Mendoza off the board. So I think this has happened a couple times, but that does leave my quarterback 1 available if I want to go that route. Tua's played a little better recently, but I mean, I'm looking to move off of him, and I just think with, I don't want to take a guard 4 overall. Yeah, I think Ty Simpson is still my number 1 player, so I'm going to go with Ty Simpson for the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins might be stuck with Tua for 1 more year, unless they can find a trade partner. And maybe they can get a tanking team to operate in like a pick swap situation where they could get some cap savings. But even then, they're going to be eating $13 million of dead cap over the next 3 years, even to trade him. But it very well could happen. That team's looking a little rough. Not looking a little rough. They are very rough. Getting blown out by the Browns is a new low. So we might see it with the Jets this weekend too after these trades. But you said Ty Simpson to the Dolphins. The Giants, another team picking at the top here, not taking a quarterback as it currently stands today. The Giants, outside of Malik Neighbors, and now the absence of Malik Neighbors is really accentuating the need for a playmaker. Again, I think we could talk about offensive tackle, but again, are you taking Moe Noah, who I think is kind of a guard? Are you taking Spencer Fano, who I thought Caleb Lomu outplayed him this past week? I don't love the value at tackle here at 5. So let's talk about wide receiver. And again, I like the Z slot, even X versatility of Malik Neighbors. I think adding a bona fide X outside of Malik Neighbors frees you up even more to do a lot more with Malik Neighbors, who's an all-around weapon.
Right.
I'm going to jump the gun here a little bit. I know Jordan Tyson has been the bona fide wide receiver 1 in this class for a while. I'm going to go with the bona fide X, though, like an outside X, dominant vertical plane receiver, strong at the catch point. I'm going to go Carnell Tate to the Giants here to pair with Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I'm growing more and more willing to consider Carnell Tate as wide receiver 1 for sure. Browns at 6. So let's see. Yeah, Browns are picking at 19 also, so keep that in mind. I mean, I feel like this has got to be Dante Moore, right? Because, yeah, Dante Moore, final first-round quarterback, in my opinion, that's available. And, yeah, Brown, I mean, Dylan Gabriel has looked
rough,
pitiful.
I do think we're going to see Shedeur Sanders at some point this season, but that's to say who even knows what that's going to look like as well. So, yeah, the Gabriel thing, again, they drafted him in the 3rd round, right? They didn't draft him to develop as a starter, but like having that bridge backup veteran in a room who's already has a relationship and a rapport with a quarterback that you're drafting 6th overall sounds like a pretty decent idea to me.
Yeah.
All right, Raiders, we're back into best player available territory here because quarterback's gone. Geno Smith has been a little rough. They might have to find another bridge option this next year as well. But again, the Chris Wilkins experience bottomed out hard there. So staring at the board as it lies right now, this is an easy Peter Woods fit for me to the Raiders.
And that takes away who I was going to take for the Bengals, who are on pace to have the worst defense
Terrible
by success rate since 2000 at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Caleb Downs is the one player that I feel like you could draft to the Bengals and there isn't a risk that he's going to be like consumed by the black hole that is the Cincinnati defense. I think he's somebody that can kind of make things right for them on the back end. Not gonna have a missed tackle like Jordan Battle had last week. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, we'll go Caleb Downs at 8 to the Bengals.
Cincinnati's notable for drafting a lot of Ohio State players as well, obviously with Columbus being an hour and a half away. And you don't have to burn top 30 visits to talk to as many of those guys as you want to. So it makes a lot of sense.
That's so lazy.
It is, but I mean, if a blue chip school is that close to you, why wouldn't you just? The Browns have started to take a lot more in that from Ohio State over the past.
For me, it's like considering how little the Bengals invest in like a scouting department. That's why I say it's lazy, because it's like, I legitimately think at that point that you are just cutting corners and like, oh yeah, I've seen him on TV.
Washington. They just paid Terry McLaurin, and he was already in some trade rumors. Deebo Samuel already in some trade rumors. I doubt Deebo Samuel's on this team next year. They just drafted Connerly. They just traded for Tunsil. I mean, they could look to continue to protect Jaden Daniels and draft a guard. And in that case, I would probably look at CeCe Moinoa as a guard here to Washington. But again, that wide receiver room is rough. And then those two best guys are 30. I think I'm going to draft Jordan Tyson to the Commanders here.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that frees me up to take Francis Moinoa to the Baltimore Ravens, and he is going to play guard for them. So yeah, that's a pretty easy pick. Moinoa is my top offensive lineman. We'll talk about him in depth tomorrow when we break down tackles.
Love it. All right, Rams here. Rams aren't going to luck into a quarterback at this spot here at 11 overall. Again, I'm just assuming, I'm pretty much scratching out Lenore Sellers in this mock draft exercise for myself, because I'm just like, this guy's going back to school. That's how firm in my mind I am about what he's put on tape over the last 4 games. I'm just like, nope, back to school. They also have an offensive line hole. I mean, I guess this is a really easy Spencer Fano spot then. With Rob Havenstein probably retiring after this year. He's definitely not under contract after this year. So replacing Havenstein at right tackle with Fano makes a lot of sense here as well. Their secondary is also a bottomless pit. But again, our top corner that we've talked about on this podcast hasn't played football all season. Is that going to detract teams from taking him early? Would a guy like Mansour Delane hop him? That just leads me back to Spencer Fano here to the Rams, 11th overall.
So the O-line is drying up. How crazy do you think Vega Ioane
at 12?
At 12 is?
But dude, he's a brick freaking wall. His tape this past week against Ohio State in pass pro was really impressive.
Yeah.
His run game stuff's still a little rough. I mean, this is where Kenyon Green went a few years ago.
I did not like Kenyon Green.
No, me neither, particularly. But I mean, let's just say that a guard has gone this high in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Elijah Vera Tucker had the same range as well in 2021.
Yeah, let's go Vega Ioane, Penn State guard, massive. just like incredibly clean tape. Now Penn State has basically their entire first half of the season was against cupcakes. So
Uh-huh.
still want to keep. I'm still interested to see like what his foot speed and recovery ability is like, and want to see more examples of him getting tested on the edge. But I think just a rock solid player.
I did a film room on Kenyatta Jackson this week, and there were a couple times when he gamed inside and just got completely stood up by Ioane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we're getting a run of on offensive linemen in a class where I don't like the offensive linemen because we're sitting with the Houston Texans now.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, Nick Chubb is washed. Joe Mixon's washed. Woody Marks is not a bell cow or a guy like this could be a Jeremiah Love spot if I don't love the offensive lineman on the board here. And Caden Proctor on PFF's board is the next best available, ranked 23 on the big board, and we're sitting at pick 13. I'm gonna let's go Jeremiah Love. Let's have some fun here. Let's go Jeremiah Love. Take some pressure off of CJ Stroud in that regard.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do. So I think probably like 90% of mock drafts that I've ever done across my career, I have mocked a cornerback to the Vikings in the first round.
Uh-huh.
And we're not going to switch it up.
Well, you're on the Cowboys, my friend.
Oh shoot, that's my bad. Okay, Cowboys. So they just addressed defensive tackle. That is no longer a need.
Mm-hmm. Linebacker is like what's Logan Wilson's contract? Is he still under contract beyond the season, or is he a free agent? He was only traded for a 7th round pick, which makes me think that
it would be linebacker or corner.
He's under contract for 2 more years beyond this year. But again, he could obviously get cut.
Yeah, I don't really.
No dead cap.
I think his best football is behind him. So yeah, I will take Sonny Styles, the Ohio State linebacker. The emergence of Arvell Reese, I think, is going to lead to Sonny Styles getting kind of flying under the radar. But first round prospect all the way for me.
Then I'll jump the gun and do what you were going to do here and just make this a really easy and quick selection. And let's send Jermon McCoy to the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know. Right. You might have gone to Lane there, but instead of
that would have been a combo.
Yeah,
it's probably not looking like McCoy's going to play again this year.
I bet he's never playing a note down to college football.
So the Panthers have Tet McMillan, who's playing really well. I kind of like the idea of pairing him with Mekhi Lemon. Just give you like a reliable slot Z type of player. The problem though is that Jalen Coker I do like, and there's a little bit of overlap there. But I think there's room for all of them on the field. So I will go with Mekhi Lemon.
3 straight years of first round picks on the wide receiver room there in Carolina. All right, Kansas City. All right, so Jawan Taylor's obviously a perpetually replaceable. I saw that Josh Simmons finally returned to the team, but I also think that Kingsley Suamataia started to play a little bit better for them as well. So maybe they don't. Maybe tackle isn't as big of a need. Keldrick Folk screams those bigger, bulkier chief edges.
Yeah.
I like this range on Keldrick Folk better than a top 10 player as well, by the way.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's go Keldrick Folk here. Address the defensive trenches here for Kansas City.
So I've got the Bears at 18. Main thing that I'm looking for is an edge rusher. Diode Ingbo out for the season. They like these. They like the Keldrick Folk types, so I really want to take David Bailey. It is kind of counter to the prototype that they go towards, but I think they need somebody with a fastball to pair with the bigger base ends that they have. So I'll go David Bailey.
All right. Off the board brings me to my Cleveland Browns here. So the Browns obviously need to replace 5 offensive linemen, and they have the 32nd ranked wide receiver room. So that's where I'm going here, either offensive tackle or wide receiver. Based on the tackles left on the board here, I would be looking at Caleb Lomu as the tackle based off of recent play of these guys. Caden Proctor is the highest on PFF's board. Caden Proctor's play, even still down the stretch here, has scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah.
I know some people are a little more bullish on it, and I am not there. So I would probably lean Lomu here if I were going to go tackle. I think our value is going to be here, though, somewhere. I say that, and I'm not so sure. Brazel at 19. It would be Chris Bell here, who I would take. So this would be a coin flip between Chris Bell and Caleb Lomu. The Chris Bell type of receivers could you come back and get in the second round in the form of like a Jeremy Bernard? Maybe. Again, I don't like either of these guys, Denzel Boston or Chris Brazel. Could you come back and get like a Casey Concepcion in the second round? You could get a Jacoby Lane day 2 if you wanted a dominant X later down the line. There, you need more than one wide receiver. Okay. I think I'm going to talk myself into going Caleb Lomu here. Grab the athletic offensive tackle. Best football's probably still ahead of him as he's developing from a tight end to an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
So, yeah, I would have probably taken Lomu for the Steelers to replace Broderick Jones. But instead, I'm going to get in on this receiver class, I think. And although, do I want to? Mansour Lane is still on the board, correct? Yes.
He is.
And pair him with Joey Porter Jr. Yeah, I think I like Mansour Lane to the Steelers better than a receiver. So that's where we're going to go.
Lions. Taylor Decker has had a hard time staying on the field. Proctor kind of fits like a kind of a Lionsy culture kind of pick. I wouldn't hate a Proctor pick here. Depends on how bullish they are on Giovanni Manu, the international player, Pathways player guy they're trying to develop. I need it center as well, but again, I don't see Connor Lew as a first round guy anymore. They just drafted defensive tackle last year. Corner, they've always had a need at corner despite drafting Terrion Arnold. So Avion Terrell could be a pick here as well. I think that Detroit is a building that gets the most out of a guy like Caden Proctor.
It's fair.
I think we go Proctor. And then you pair Proctor with Penei Sewell and have some massive boys up front.
All right. So you keep taking my plays because I was going to draft Caden Proctor and move him to guard for the Chargers. But I'm going to take Emmanuel Pregnon, my second ranked guard,
Wow.
assuming that Francis Mauigoa is a tackle. Pregnon out of Oregon. 253 on the PFF board, as you can see.
253.
But he is, 20th on my board.
All right. Michael Williams has not generated much of a pass rush and just towards ACL. I don't think they're going to address edge with a rookie again like they were searching for. The 49ers were searching for edges on the trade market. Didn't come to fruition. All that to say is I think they're probably going to try to stabilize that room with some veterans after drafting 3 young guys along their defensive line this past year. Again, leads us back to offensive line here for San Fran, and I don't love anything that I'm looking at anymore. Is there anybody buried on the board that is actually should be way higher they just haven't found yet or gotten to? And I don't see it.
For O-line, yeah, man, it's too early for even the people that I like. Because my next highest graded O lineman is Caleb Tiernan, but I'm not ready to spend a first round pick on him.
Mine would be Chase Bezantis, but again, same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to throw a first rounder on Bezantis right here. So we could go back to the conversation of Brandon Ayuk, who's been unhealthy since they signed that massive deal, and he's been in trade rumors every year, and Debo's gone, and Ricky Pearsall is really their only good wide receiver left in that room. And if we're talking about trying to find a receiver who can do a little bit of everything and is built a little bit like Debo and can move a little bit like Debo after the catch, not comping him to Debo, that might be Chris Bell. So I think we're going to go Chris Bell to the Niners here and just give them another weapon.
So Cowboys took Sonny Styles, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We got to get Kyer Elam, etc., out of the off the field here. So we are going to go with Avion Terrell, the Clemson corner.
Cool.
Still been consistent despite Clemson being so bad.
All right. My mind automatically goes to safety for Buffalo.
Cole Bishop just had a
great
game.
Mm-hmm. And there's not a safety that I would take first round anymore outside of Caleb Downs. So that's going to push me to linebacker.
14 personnel. Kenyon Sadiq.
Kenyon Sadiq. Just keep adding tight ends to that roster. That's going to pull me back to linebacker, though. CJ Allen's sitting 56th on PFF's board. That's very, very odd to me. We're going to go CJ Allen to Buffalo here at the 25th overall pick, though.
I can't get behind CJ Allen being graded lower than Deontay Lawson.
Or Anthony Hill.
Yeah.
So
the Seahawks at 26. Got to support the best quarterback in the NFL. So I think you continue to attack offensive line and look for an Anthony Bradford replacement. That could be a good way to go. I'm with you though. I think Bezantis at 26 is too early. Not a linebacker that I feel good about. What do you think?
Yeah, we're looking a little rough here.
I mean, they're set at tight end with Barner and Arroyo.
I might start looking at names like Colton Hood or Keith Abney.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea
because they're looking to shop.
Yeah,
I don't think Reek Woolen's surviving another year there with them.
Right, I'll go Keith Abney here to the Seattle Seahawks. Good call.
All right, the Rams back on the clock here after drafting Spencer Fano early. Matt Stafford's coming back. At this pace that he's playing, he's coming back. With that being said, do you draft a toolsy quarterback who probably needs to incubate and learn from Stafford, who has some of the same kind of gall in terms of arm talent as Stafford? Let him incubate for a year, and you get him at 27? Like, is this a good Sorsby fit here?
I'm just
The Sorsby tape was really bad this past week.
Yeah,
though.
I wouldn't do that personally.
This team just drafted an Oregon tight end in the second round last year, but he's hardly playing. This team also really wanted Brock Bowers. Do you double up here, and do you take Kenyon Sadiq? And you get a weapon, and then you have 12 personnel tight ends of Terrence Ferguson and Kenyon Sadiq here?
Sean Payton says no.
Oh, the next pick. You're just tired of me sniping all your picks. You're just tired of me sniping all your picks. Fine, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Oh man, the Sorsby tape was really bad this past week, man. But the talent is so fun. The tools are so fun. And this is where you have the conversation about a toolsy quarterback. 27, not top 10, but 27. You can kind of start to dream a little bit there. Oh. Their secondary is really bad, though, too. So do we go Colton Hood? Nah, uh, we are gonna go
Damani Jackson.
Jermaine Matthews is 210 on their board. I would I would probably draft Jermaine Matthews in the same tier as Colton Hood. Would you?
I wouldn't take either at 27, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they're like fringe top 50 guys to me. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, Sadiq makes sense. Like, don't not take him on my account. But yeah, that's
He
definitely who
is
I
the
would
only one
take
that kind of
from.
makes
Yeah,
sense here,
just
other than
take
Sorsby.
him.
It's him or Sorsby, I would think. So we'll go Sadiq.
All right, back to the drawing board for the Denver Broncos. Are there any other tight ends that we would take here? Probably not. Justin Jolie, Michael Trigg, Terrence Carter.
Yeah. This is going to be a round 4 to 5 heavy tight end class.
Right. Um, could potentially look at. I mean, it's a really good roster. Is the problem? They don't need a ton. What about a receiver? Like I kind of
Yeah.
like Casey Concepcion here.
Casey's Concepcion here.
He's the kind of stuff that just replace the Kenyon Sadiq screen targets and gadget plays with Conception.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be better anyways.
All right. I like that fit. I really like that fit. All right. Buccaneers here. This seems a hard team to draft for. Again, if Sadiq was on the board, but he wouldn't have made it past Denver, Sadiq would be a good fit here as well. Do I feel more comfortable with Bazantis at 29? That's still early. I think I would feel comfortable with Bazantis in the second round, so maybe I would feel comfortable with him late first if I'm comfortable with him in the second, especially in this class. All of their edge rushers, well, I say that, but they drafted Joe Tryon in the first round for a Bulls defense. But like Anthony Nelson is a big dude. All of their edges tend to have a little bit of bulk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Cassius Howe's going to fit a first round mold here. Quincy Rhodes is back to school at this point. Vita Vea is not old, but probably getting close to the point of his career where you could start thinking about, do we need to move on or not?
Yeah.
And you're not replacing him with Kalijah Cansey. They're two way different players there. And Kalijah Cansey's coming off an injury. So I'm leaning like a Maury Washington here. Yeah. Let's go.
I could see Mateo, honestly. I know you're not a huge fan, but if we're predicting, I mean, I could definitely see it.
Yeah. I would draft Amori over Mateo, though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Amori Washington.
So the Patriots could be a Cassius Howe spot or Denzel Boston. That's what I'm deciding between. The Patriots have like a good handful of starting caliber receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Would be great if they could add a difference maker. I'm not convinced that Denzel Boston is a difference maker.
I was going to say, do you want to draft another University of Washington receiver who can't separate on the vertical plane?
True.
But
it would be between that and Cassius Howe, but let's take Howe, man. His tape is just so much better than Boston.
And again, New England runs a lot of overhang stuff with their edges there. So I mean, he like the Judon stuff, right? That's pure stand-up guy. So I think that fits. Eagles. They might be trading AJ Brown, so you could talk about receiver. Guard is a big need. Edge, they perpetually just want to keep adding names to that room. But again, the edge group, this would be a Mateo spot, I think. What do we got going along interior? This could be a Caleb Banks spot too, where he can come in and he can just play kind of that Milton Williams kind of role early on.
Yeah.
And again, this is the Eagles thing. They just get guys at discount. They get consensus players way later than consensus, and then they all play well. And again, Banks is coming off a broken foot. Let's go. Man, all of their edge rushers are on 1-year deals, though, for the most part. Like Jalen Phillips, they just traded for expiring. Ojolari expiring. Jalix Hunt is a DPR. But again, I don't love these edges. I guess Mateo would be the one I would go for here. But again, I don't think Mateo's a top 32 player. Let's go Caleb Banks. Let's just keep riding the BPA wave that the Eagles ride, seamlessly ride. So
it's a classic Eagles pick. So Colts at 32, as we all predicted.
Which is the Jets pick now.
Right. So they traded away A.D. Mitchell, who is looking like a bust. Gonna probably lose Alec Pierce in free agency. So receiver becomes.
No, this is the Jets pick.
Oh, got it. Okay. The pictures were covering it up. Okay, Jets. So Jets that opens it up then, because the Jets need a lot more than the Colts. Now all of a sudden I can pretty much go through my whole board. So is there a corner that I would want to replace Sauce with? No. Is there a 3-tech that I feel good replacing Quinnen Williams with? No. My highest graded player available is Denzel Boston, followed by Chris Brazzell. So you could take another swing at receiver to pair with Garrett Wilson. I mean, I think they really just have to go best player available, and because of the gap in grades, I'm going to go with Denzel Boston.
Yeah, especially if we're drafting the quarterback in this exercise as well. You've already drafted the stalwart offensive tackles. Those are already in place. Get the quarterback some weapons. So I like that pick a lot. All right. Well, there we go, man. That was a solid mock. So, again, we didn't execute trades in this mock draft here. So we're sitting at with no trades, but two teams who just drafted quarterbacks in the top 40 last year. And again, that would preclude the Saints from taking quarterback one if they really loved one. But in this exercise, Arvell Reese to the Saints, number 1 overall. Ruben Bain to the Titans, 2. Fernando Mendoza, first quarterback off the board, 3 to the Jets. Dolphins take Ty Simpson at 4. Giants take Carnell Tate at 5. Dante Moore to the Browns at 6. Peter Woods to the Raiders at 7. Caleb Downs to the Bengals at 8. Jordan Tyson to the Commanders at 9. CeCe Moinoa to the Ravens at 10. Spencer Fano to the Rams at 11. Vega Ioane to the Cardinals at 12. Jeremiah Love to the Texans at 13. Sonny Styles to the Cowboys at 14. Jermon McCoy to the Vikings at 15. Mekhi Lemon to the Panthers at 16. Keldrick Falk to the Chiefs at 17. David Bailey to the Bears at 18. Caleb Lumen to the Browns. Mansour Delane to the Steelers. Caden Proctor to the Lions. Emmanuel Pregnon to the Chargers. Chris Bell to the Niners. Avion Terrell to the Cowboys. CJ Allen to the Bills. Keith Abney II to the Seahawks. Kenyon Sadiq to the Rams with the 27th pick, their second pick there. Casey Concepcion to the Broncos. Amori Washington to the Buccaneers. Cassius Howell to the Patriots. Caleb Banks to the Eagles. And Denzel Boston to the Jets. All right, just as we do every time here, James, which is your favorite scheme/team fit to prospect here?
There are two fits that stand out to me. Francis Mauanoa to the Ravens at 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just, fits like a glove. And then really like CJ Allen to the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of lining up with need there. And I think that's really good value.
Yeah, I like that too. I would say my favorite fits would be man. Jermon McCoy to the Vikings with Brian Flores. They're assuming Brian Flores is still the defensive coordinator there next year and doesn't get a head coaching job. And then I don't want to pick two of my own picks, but then Chris Bell to the Niners is the other one that really stands out here
So
to me as
self-centered.
well. So I know. What an asshole. All right. We're going to be talking offensive tackles tomorrow. So you guys better be ready for that. We'll come through and we'll kind of reset this board. It's going to be a lot of the same names that we talked about over the summer. There hasn't been a real riser throughout this tackle class. It's been the names that we expected. And then among the names that we expected, it hasn't necessarily been a step up in terms of tape from very many of them. So we'll have the chat tomorrow. But that's it, James. Anything else for the people today?
That's it.
All right. Well, until next time, this has been another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast. See ya.